The blue light from my laptop screen is the only thing lighting up my face in the dark of my apartment here in Palo Alto. Outside, the fog is rolling in, but I'm just staring at the numbers on my screen. 11,682.72. That's 3 years of those automatic payments to my folks, just silently going out, and they never even mentioned it. I take a gulp of my herbal tea, which is ice cold by now. My microwave clock says it's 11:17 p.m. way late for most folks to be working, but my normal schedule went out the window a long time ago, somewhere between all those startup funding rounds and trying to prove I wasn't a screw-up. My phone buzzes on the glass coffee table. Dad's name. Weird. He usually goes through Mom so he can pretend he doesn't need anything from me. Hello, I say, trying to sound casual. Sierra. His voice has that same tone he always uses, like I've already messed up somehow. Hey Dad, is everything all right? I minimize the banking window, even though he can't see what I'm doing. He clears his throat. About Thanksgiving next month, your mother and I were thinking maybe you shouldn't come this year. My fingers freeze on the keyboard. What? Jenna's boyfriend is visiting. He's impressive, corporate, very polished. He hesitates. Your job, it's hard to explain. Those words just hit me, one at a time like a punch. I think of my corner office with that view of the San Francisco Bay, the team of 37 people who report to me, the medical device that's currently saving lives in 17 countries. My job is hard to explain. I just say the words out loud. These people, they just ask questions, what I do. It doesn't quite fit, I guess. He couldn't find the right word, something that wouldn't sound mean. He settled on traditional, like Jenna's whole marketing thing, like the life they always pictured for me. Suddenly, the apartment felt like a refrigerator. Don't take it personally, he said, his voice getting hard. This dinner's huge for your sister. We gotta make a good impression. My throat closed up. So I don't make a good impression. Sierra, for crying out loud, why do you always make things so hard? That old frustration, the one I've known my whole life, was in his voice. Science projects debate team. It was always the same. Just skip this one, come for Christmas instead. I didn't say a word, just stared at my banking app. 3 years of keeping their house afloat after Dad retired early. 3 years of paying off Mom's credit card debt when her business went south. Fine, he said, all quiet and scary, like he used to be when I was a kid. If you're coming, don't call me Dad. My finger hovered over the end call button. This emptiness, it just spread through me like ink spilled all over. Sierra, did you hear me? Yeah, I heard you, I said, but my own voice sounded miles away. The call ended. I don't even remember who hung up. I just sat there in the quiet of my fancy apartment, letting the memories wash over me. Jenna's graduation party, that whole weekend, the house was taken over. So I found out I got into MIT while eating reheated leftovers. Then, Mom drove 4 hours to get Jenna her prom shoes, but couldn't make it to my robotics thing, which was only a half-hour away. My hand just went right to the trackpad. I clicked on the automatic payments area. There were 3 accounts, their mortgage, bills, and a monthly payment listed as family support. I started thinking about Thanksgivings and how I'd asked questions about their money, only to get brushed off or the subject changed. And how Dad toasted Jenna's little promotion, but didn't say a word about my Series B funding. I clicked cancel payment on each one at a time. No heads up, no nothing, just the quiet sound of my decision echoing into their world. The confirmation messages popped up on the screen. I shut the laptop, done. Sometimes you gotta walk away to show you care, I mumbled to the empty room. My phone rang. I figured it was Dad or Mom, somehow already knowing what I'd done. But it was Aunt Karen, the only family member who ever showed up at my graduations. Hey Aunt Karen, I said, my voice kinda cracking. Just checking on my favorite niece, she said, her southern accent making the words sound all warm. Working too hard again. I'm fine, I lied automatically. Then I thought, wait, no, I'm not fine. Tell me, she said, not sounding surprised at all. So I told her everything, and with each word something inside me loosened up. Oh, sweetie, she said when I was done. Look, I love my sister, but this has got to stop. You've done enough. Did I really? My voice sort of broke. Sometimes I just figured if I tried harder. Sierra Catherine Winters, she cut in, using my whole name like she did when I was a kid. There's a world of difference between helping family and letting them hurt you. Tears were starting to roll down my face, but my voice was getting steadier. I've given enough. It's about time, honey, she said quietly. It really is. After we hung up, I noticed 2 things on my phone, a calendar alert. Mom's birthday in 3 weeks, and a text from HR saying some new guy, Luke Evans, was starting on Monday. Then my mom's face popped up on my phone screen calling me. I just watched it ring. For the first time in ages, I didn't answer. 21 days of peace, it felt amazing. I deleted another voicemail from my mom without even listening. This was the sixth one today, and then I laid my phone face down on the glass desk. Through the office window, the San Francisco Bay was all sparkly under the October sun. The water was calm, even though a storm was brewing. In my personal life, a knock on my door pulled me back from my thoughts. "Come in," I said, rearranging the papers on my desk. Luke Evans walked in. His sharp navy suit and confident walk matched his perfect resume. 6'2", a firm handshake, and those clear blue eyes that really met yours. He was so Jenna's type, even though I didn't know that yet. He drops a folder on my desk. "Henderson contracts all set for your final look," he says. "They signed off on everything, even the exclusive distribution." I nod, thinking, damn, Luke, you're good. $3 billion over 5 years. "Not bad for week 3, I say, and a little flicker of pride crosses his face. "Thanks for the chance, Ms. Winters." "Sierra's fine," I tell him and open the folder. "Great job, Luke." He pauses at the door. "Everyone's really blown away by how you handled those negotiations. Henderson wouldn't budge an inch till you took over." A warm feeling spreads through me. Just a little acknowledgement, given so easily, and I realize how much I've been craving it. He leaves and my phone buzzes again. "Dad," I ignore it without even thinking twice. 1,000 miles away, Mom stands in her kitchen, phone pressed tight to her ear, her knuckles white. "What do you mean our service is disconnected?" she asks the internet company. "We've always paid our bill on time." She scribbles down account numbers, verification codes, payment dates, all the usual stuff for a customer service call, until the rep says something that makes her stomach drop. "Ma'am, the automatic payments were stopped 3 weeks ago." Dad walks into the kitchen just as she hangs up. "What is it?" he asks. "The internet's off," she says, her voice shaking. "They said they stopped getting the automatic payments." His face goes hard as he figures it out. "But why would she call Stephanie?" he starts to say, then stops, thinking about their last credit card. "We gotta get to the bottom of this." Mom's hands are trembling as she punches in the numbers. "The party is tomorrow, Richard." "What if something goes wrong?" "She'll pick up," he says, but I could see right through him. The next night, I'm going over those quarterly reports when Aunt Karen texts me. The party's started and the lights are already going crazy. Mom's totally freaking out. I imagine it, all them arriving with their presents, Mom glowing as she greets everyone, the perfect hostess. Jenna helping with the flowers, Dad mixing drinks. Then bam, the power cuts out, for real this time, thanks to that 72-hour notice. Then my phone lights up with a text from Mom. "Help us please, the lights and water are gone, everyone's here." I just put my phone face down and go back to my work. 20 minutes later, my computer dings. There's a company-wide email introducing Luke Evans to other departments. I click on his employee file just to see. Former job, Harrington Media, Senior Account Executive, Jason Willis, VP of Marketing. The name rings a bell. I search my emails and find a casual text from Jenna from 6 months back. "Dinner with Jason from work tonight, and he's setting me up with someone amazing." Luke Evans isn't just some new guy. He's Jenna's boyfriend, the corporate hotshot Dad didn't want me to be around. I closed the file without doing anything. Look, Luke's got the skills, okay. It's not his fault that my family never bothered to find out what company I built with Devon, even though they were happy to take my money. My phone buzzes. It's Aunt Karen showing up on the screen. "Hey," I say, trying to sound calm. "Just a sec, sweetie," she says, her voice a little muffled, like she's holding the phone weird. Then I see a little video pop up. My folks' dining room, all lit up by emergency candles with their faces all lit up. Mom's rushing around, saying sorry for everything. Dad's standing stiffly by the fireplace, looking totally embarrassed. Jenna's talking to someone, probably explaining what's going on. Then the camera swings around and there's Luke, all lit up by candlelight. "Wait," he says, his face changing when he spots Aunt Karen's phone. "Is that Sierra?" Aunt Karen brings the phone closer to her face. "Yeah, I'm talking to my niece. Do you know her?" The room just went dead silent. Everyone stopped talking. Luke's totally confused, even through the tiny screen. "Ms. Winters from Metatronics?" "Yeah," Aunt Karen says, sounding like she's enjoying this a little too much. "Sierra Winters." The camera moves across everyone's stunned faces, finally stopping on Dad, who goes from annoyed to totally shocked. "You work with Sierra?" Mom asks, getting closer to the phone. Luke nods, still trying to keep it professional, even with the super awkward situation. I work at Metatronics. Sierra's one of the co-founders, I report to her. This silence hung heavy, like wine spilled all over the floor, you couldn't clean it up. Jenna's face popped up on the screen, a total mix of terror and shame. Dad cleared his throat. Well, yeah, Sierra's really done well, he mumbled. We're super proud. His voice just died, like it ran out of steam after years of not really caring. I hung up, dropped my phone, and actually smiled for the first time in 3 weeks. Sometimes, getting even is weird. It comes in a sharp navy suit with a $1 billion deal attached. My email dinged at 6:17 a.m. I'd been up since 4, staring at spreadsheets instead of sleeping. Luke Evans's name jumped out at me. Sent 5 minutes ago last night. My finger hovered over delete. I didn't need office gossip messing with my work, but curiosity got the better of me. I opened it. He wrote, I want to say sorry for the whole awkward thing yesterday when I took the job. I had no clue you were Jenna's sister. She never mentioned you or your connection to Metatronics, not once during our whole thing. Just so we're clear, I'm done with Jenna. It's not about you being my boss, it's all about how she treated you and everyone else at the party. The way she acted, totally not my style. I'm still committed to Metatronics and will keep things completely professional. It made me uneasy, that email. I totally get it if it made him feel uncomfortable at work. I was ready to talk about other ways to handle things. Luke Evans, that's his name. I reread it twice before I even started typing back. I wrote him a thank you as upfront, I appreciated that. His personal life is his business, I hired him for his skills and those haven't changed. We'll just keep things professional between us. Sierra Winters, Chief Innovation Officer, Metatronics. Short, sweet and clear boundaries. Hit send, closed my laptop. My phone blew up right away. Not from Luke though, Jenna. Texts one after another. What you say to Luke? He dumped me this morning. Tell me, I know you did this. You're always so jealous of me. Make it right. It just kept coming, even while I showered and got dressed. 10 years ago, each one would have felt like a knife twist. Now, they're like water off a duck's back. Finally, I checked my phone again, 17 new messages. The last one, please, Sierra, I really love him. I shot back one text. He didn't leave because I said anything. He left because of how you treat people, then I silenced her. The Carrington merger, we're 6 months ahead of schedule. 40 pairs of eyes were on me in that glass-walled conference room. I stood tall, shoulders back, voice steady. The PowerPoint showed charts that just soared serious growth. Any questions before we go over department updates? A few hands went up. I go through each person's questions, giving them clear answers. In this room, with these people, I feel seen. Really seen. Not just as somebody's daughter or sister, but as someone who built something important. Marcus from engineering asks me about when we're integrating the new systems. Sophia from legal wants to double-check some contact info. Luke way in the back keeps nodding along like he gets what I'm saying, but he doesn't make a big deal about it. When it's over, Diana, my assistant, brings me a coffee. The board called, she says. They want to bump up the quarterly review. Guess they saw those Carrington numbers. I tell her to schedule it whenever we're prepared. I take the coffee, our fingers brushing for a second. Thanks for taking care of everything while I was gone yesterday, I say. Of course, she replies with a real smile. We're here for you. It hits me hard. My team supports me, but my family's falling apart. I try not to think about it and head to my next meeting. Your cousins are going crazy, Aunt Karen says, spreading butter on her bread. We're at a cafe a few blocks from my office. The spring sun feels good, and there's a nice breeze carrying the smell of flowers. About what? I ask, poking at my salad. I haven't had much of an appetite since all the drama started with Richard and Diane and how they treated everyone for so long. She leans closer, her voice dropping. Turns out they've been telling everyone you ditched the family after you made it big, that you forgot your roots. My fork stops in mid-air. What? I ask, but after what happened at that birthday party, her eyes crinkled, all happy and smug. Everyone finally got it. Uncle Bill called Richard himself, straight up asking why they'd kept their daughter's role at Metatronics a secret. She let out a little laugh. Man, I wish I'd seen Richard's face. Something inside me just shifted. Like that weird feeling when everything you thought you knew falls apart. I'd believed for years I was all alone with this, so they know now. About the money, the whole shebang. Aunt Karen's hand covered mine across the table. The gold bangles on her wrist glittered in the sun, reminding me of Sundays at her house when I was little, the only place my questions were ever welcome, not shut down. Honey, she said, Half the family's livid with them. Even Rachel, who never rocks the boat, told Mom she should be ashamed. My throat tightened up. Whoa, I didn't see that coming. Family's not always blind loyalty, huh? She squeezed my hand. Some of us have known the truth for ages, she whispered. The doorbell rang at 8:43. I was knee-deep in a patent application. Yoga pants, bare feet, hair a total mess on my head. I checked the security camera and my stomach dropped. My parents were there, two little suitcases by their side. I almost didn't answer, thought about my quiet apartment, my safe little haven, but running away wouldn't solve anything, so I opened the door. Mom stepped right up, arms open wide like the past month never even happened. "We've missed you," she said. He trails behind her, head lowered, with his hands stuffed in his pockets. "Can we come in?" They were at the door, so I stepped aside without saying a word. They came inside, and their eyes got wide when they saw the bay view from my big windows, the nice furniture, and the awards I kept on my bookshelf. "Beautiful place," my mom says quietly, touching my kitchen counter. "You've really made something of yourself." My dad clears his throat. "We might have gotten a little carried away about Thanksgiving. Families should stick together on holidays." It wasn't an apology, that's for sure. "Water?" I asked, trying to sound like I didn't care. They said yes, so we sat in the living room, which got really awkward. The silence was so thick until my dad spoke. "Look, Sierra," he starts, glancing at my mom, "we've been talking. With your job and everything, maybe you could help us out. 2,500 a month isn't much for someone like you." I almost couldn't believe what I was hearing. No real apologies, no taking responsibility, it was just a new way to get the same thing. "And how much is Jenna going to chip in?" I asked, keeping my voice down. My mom's eyes blinked fast. "Well, Jenna's going through a tough time right now. The breakup has been hard on her. She needs time to get over it." "I see." I put my water glass down real slow. "So you have two options. Either Jenna pays her share or we make a legal agreement about your house. Your choice." My dad's face went red. The vein in his temple, the one I always feared when I was little, started throbbing. "They're laying down the law. We raised you," my mom choked out, her eyes all blurry with tears. "And now you're putting a price on family, after everything we did. All the sacrifices we made." Whoa, the anger was intense, but this time I was totally calm. That old fear, gone, just clear-headedness. "I think you should leave," I said, my voice steady. Dad stood up too, towering over me just like he used to when I was a kid. But I didn't flinch. No apologies, no trying to work things out. I just waited by the door until they grabbed their bags and walked out. Money stuff always messes up family, but I'm learning some connections are just too poisonous to keep up, no matter the cost. Later that day, the sun was streaming in through these huge windows in our conference room. It was amazing, we'd almost doubled our team in 6 months, 52 people crammed in there. I was laying out our plan to expand into Europe. We got EU approval for our cardiac monitor, I announced, and you could see the happy faces all around. "Next quarter, we'll be saving lives in 17 more countries." The applause was awesome. I leaned against the window, looking out at the San Francisco Bay. The water was so sparkly, always moving but always there, just like me, I guess. Then Dr. Sanchez, our research chief, asked, "Will this change when we can launch the kids' version?" "Nope," I said. My voice is stronger now, like I actually believe in what I'm saying. "Luke's team is really kicking butt too." I glance over at him, second row. He just got bumped up to director of product development yesterday. He gives me a little nod back, all business. It's weird to think he was ever messing around with Jenna. That feels like a lifetime ago, buried under 6 months of him just killing it at work. I haven't breathed a word about how we're related to anyone here. Some things you just keep private. Back in my office, I delete 3 new voicemails without even listening. Mom's been blowing up my phone for months. First it was all yelling, then trying to make deals, and now she's acting all sweet like nothing ever happened. Dad emailed last week about some vague family misunderstandings that have gone on long enough. Jenna texts every week asking for business advice, which is really just her trying to get to my contacts. My assistant, Sarah, pokes her head in. "Your aunt's on the line too," she says. "Karen," I pick up right away. "How's Charleston?" "Hotter than the hinges of hell," she says, and her southern accent just calms me down. "Just wanted to check on your Thanksgiving plans," she says. "You're still welcome to come down here to Mill Valley with my friends." "Actually," I say, and I'm surprised to hear myself say it, "I'm hosting this year." "Well, look at you," I can hear the pride in her voice. "Your own Thanksgiving." "Nothing fancy," I tell her, Just some folks from work who don't have family close by, a few friends, maybe 15 people. I take a deep breath. My first holiday, totally my way. Not on your own, sweetie, she says. Okay, here's the story, rewritten with the requested changes. It's only the folks who really know you that matter. After the call, I just keep looking at the fancy invitations sitting on my desk. The Women in Healthcare Innovation Gala is on Black Friday, which is great because it gives me a good reason to stay in San Francisco all through the holiday. When I finally get there, 3 days later, the place is all sparkles and shine. I'm still feeling good from hosting my first Thanksgiving, actually feeling really full. The good feeling from the laughter and the genuine appreciation is still with me, a total contrast to those silent, awkward family holidays from before. Sierra Winters is up there, announcing who's presenting the award for revolutionary advances in accessible cardiac monitoring. As I walk up to the stage, I see them mom and dad slipping into the back row. They're all dressed up in their church clothes and they look, well, hopeful. I try to concentrate on the award itself, which feels smooth and cool in my hands. Thank you, I start, looking out at the crowd. I know that innovation doesn't happen alone. I'm especially grateful to my Aunt Karen, who showed me that real support means celebrating the real person, not some idea you have of them. But I don't see anything of my folks. Their clapping feels fake compared to all the real cheers around me. Later, when I'm getting ready to leave, Luke shows up, practically squeezing his water glass to death. Got a second? He asks me. We find a quiet spot away from everyone. I've been wanting to say this for months, he starts. After Jenna and I broke up, she told me stuff about your childhood, how they acted. His fingers clench even tighter on the glass. He just shook his head, trying to explain why they acted that way, but it didn't really cut it. Then he said something that really got to me. You did the right thing. Some families, you just can't give them another shot. Hearing that, especially from him, it was like this huge weight lifted off my shoulders. I felt seen. That night my phone blew up. Everyone on social media was going crazy, congratulating me. Mom posted that official picture of me getting the award, the one from the foundation's website. The whole "so proud of our daughter, we always knew she'd do great things" spiel. All these family members, from my parents to cousins I barely knew, chimed in, saying they'd always believed in me and my brilliant mind, that they knew I'd make them proud. Then my college friends and coworkers started posting too. But they posted actual proof pictures of them at my MIT graduation, when my parents didn't even bother to show up. Screenshots of texts where I'd told them how my family brushed me off. Stories about helping me move when my family was nowhere to be found. I just watched it all unfold, this weird mix of lies and truth playing out online. I didn't say a word. 3 days later, I finally posted something myself. Just one picture of my friends, my real family, around my Thanksgiving table. Everyone looked so happy, so genuinely happy. The caption was short and sweet. Grateful for the people who are there for the whole ride, not just the finish line. Now, the spring sun's reflecting off my windshield as I drive through my parents' neighborhood. All these big brick houses with perfect lawns, the picture of suburban success. My hands are gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles are white. Aunt Karen called yesterday and told me they're 3 months behind on their property taxes. That house is basically held together by my dad's stubbornness at this point. I pull over across the street and check myself out in the mirror. The person staring back at me is a stranger compared to who I used to be here. I take a deep breath and grab my laptop bag. The walk up to their front door is depressing. Weeds are everywhere, pushing through the cracked concrete, and the paint is peeling off the shutters. It's obvious the sprinkler system has been busted for ages. The brass knocker is freezing when I touch it. Dad opens the door. The last year has really aged him, his face is all different, and his hair has gone gray. He stares at me, eyes wide for a second, then narrows them. Sierra, he says. My name sounds different coming from him. Hi, Dad. The words are calm, like I've said them a million times. Mom shows up behind him, her smile super forced. Oh, honey, what a nice surprise. She hugs me, and she smells like she's trying too hard with her perfume. The living room looks smaller than I recall. Everything is the same as always, but totally run down. The cushions are faded, the carpet is worn, and there's dust all over the piano nobody ever plays anymore. Can I get you something to drink? Mom asks, her voice full of that fake cheer I remember from when I was a kid. Coffee, tea, water's fine. I put my laptop bag on the coffee table and notice a pile of unopened bills next to some dead flowers. Mom heads to the kitchen while Dad settles into his recliner, the leather cracking as he sits. He grumbled, "You should have called first." Would I even have picked up? His jaw clenched tight. Before he could say anything, I heard feet on the stairs. Jenna came down, all done up, even though the house is falling apart. "Sierra, what are you doing here?" she asked, but it sounded fake, like she'd practiced it. Mom came back with water in those fancy glasses she saves for guests. "Isn't this lovely?" she chirped. "Both my girls home on a Sunday." I took a little sip, letting the silence hang heavy. They looked at each other, that knowing look they always have. "We've missed you so much, sweetheart," Mom said, sitting beside me. "It hasn't been the same without our little girl." Dad cleared his throat. "Your mother's arthritis has been really bad," he said. "The doctor bills, insurance isn't covering much." Jenna nodded, serious as could be. "We've been helping as much as we can," she said, sitting across from me, legs crossed. "But things are tight for everyone right now." I put my glass down, the little clink breaking the strained silence. "Is that why you called me here, to talk about money?" I asked. "Of course not," Mom said, putting a hand to her chest. "But since you brought it up," she went on, "we were hoping you could maybe help out a little, just until we get back on our feet." I unzipped my bag. "I think we need to go over a few things first," I said, pulling out my laptop. Their eyes followed my every move as I opened it up and put it on the coffee table. The spreadsheet lit up the room. "This," I said, "is a record of every single payment I've made to help this family for the last 4 years." I swivel the laptop around so they can see. Mortgage, bills, everything, utilities, credit cards, medical stuff. A whopping $147,892.36. The blood just drained out of Mom's face. Dad's mouth flapped open and shut, no sound coming out. Jenna finally squeaked, "That's impossible." I clicked to the next page. "These were your texts, all of you, about my life." I read them out loud. "Sierra's playing with computers again," I said. "Something about robots and healthcare, who knows? She was always in her own little world." Another click. And here were Jenna's emails. She'd been emailing people in my field, trying to get a job while totally trashing my reputation behind my back. The silence was heavy, you could cut it with a knife, as they stared at the proof. Dad was the first to snap out of it. "We never asked for that money," he said. "No," I replied, "you just took it and never even said thank you." Mom started crying. Not those fake crocodile tears she usually uses, but real, shocked tears. "We didn't know," she sobbed. "That's the whole problem." I shut the laptop. "You never cared to know anything about me ever." Jenna jumped up. "This is ridiculous," she shouted. "You show up after a whole year just to rub your success in our faces." I kept my voice calm. "I'm here to set some ground rules." I held up my fingers. 1. Admit you took my help. 2. You need to be financially independent. I'm not your backup plan. 3. Respect my job and my choices. Dad's face got all tight. "So you're laying down the law to your own parents now?" he spat. "I'm trying to make things better based on treating each other right. Respect." He's looming over me, just like he used to when I was a kid. "You don't tell family what to do." Mom's caught in the middle, looking from one of us to the other, all torn up. "Richard, please," she says. "No," he bellows. "My daughter doesn't get to lay down the law like this." Jenna snatches her purse. "This is why I told them to stop bothering with you," she spits, heading for the door. "You were always a handful, always had to be different." I put my laptop away and get up. His hand going up at the doorway doesn't bother me anymore. I looked back at them one last time. Mom's crying, her makeup all smeared. Dad's stiff as a board, too proud to see what he's throwing away. Family isn't just about blood, you know, it's about respect. And once that's gone, the whole thing falls apart. The door shuts quietly behind me, a far cry from the dramatic slam I would have gone for as a teenager. Outside, I take a deep breath. That spring air felt like freedom. All that baggage I'd been hauling around for years. Finally gone, lifted right off my shoulders as I walked to my car without even glancing back. Setting limits with family who are toxic. Man, that's one of the hardest things you'll ever do. Would you have given my family another shot? Why or why not? The sun's pouring in through those huge windows at Metatronics. I'm standing there, looking out at the San Francisco Bay, all sparkly like a million tiny diamonds. On my wall, the one I secretly call my vindication wall, I've got 16 awards framed, 3 magazine covers, and the pat for our heart monitor, the one they use in 32 countries now. Sarah, my assistant, pops her head in. "Ms. Winters, the mentoring group's all set in conference room B." I grab my tablet and nod. "Did those scholarship applications get here?" They came in this morning, 43 of them this time. A smile spreads across my face. Good. 12 young women stand up when I walk into the conference room. Their eyes have this hungry look, and it takes me right back. I know that feeling, that burning need to show everyone what you're made of, especially when the world thinks you can't. Ladies, I start, being successful isn't just about being smart. It's about surviving all the people who try to tell you you're not good enough, that you don't belong. 2 hours later, I'm sitting on Dr. Levine's couch, fiddling with a loose thread. After 2 years of therapy, the furniture doesn't freak me out as much, but talking about this stuff is still hard. You're dreaming about your dad again, she says. The same one? Yeah. He's carving the turkey at Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm invisible, like literally see-through. And your mom, I swallow, the lump in my throat getting bigger. She doesn't even see me, just hands the gravy to Jenna. Dr. Levine leans closer. What does Kira need that invisible girl didn't have? The question hangs in the air, so heavy it feels like it could crush us. My throat tightens. To be seen, I whisper. Not for what I do, but for who I am. That night, Aunt Karen's FaceTime call popped up while I was going over scholarship applications. Her gray-streaked hair was tied back, and I could see her kitchen behind her. Got something for you, she said, holding up this creamy-colored envelope. From your mom. My heart just sank. How'd she? Ran into her at the supermarket, Aunt Karen explained. She asked me to give this to you. Her face didn't give anything away. No pressure or anything, kiddo. The letter showed up a couple of days later. I set it on my kitchen counter, unopened, and it just sat there while I got ready for Thanksgiving. I had a bunch of people coming, coworkers, my running buddies, my therapist, and Aunt Karen, who was flying in the next day, 14 in all. That envelope stared at me the whole time I was checking my grocery list like some creepy houseguest. Finally, maybe 3 hours later, I opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper, just 4 sentences in my mom's handwriting. It said, I messed up. You deserved a whole lot better than we gave you. I'm not asking for anything, just wanted you to know that. No guilt trips, no asking for anything, just admitting it. I carefully folded it and tucked it back in the envelope. Thanksgiving morning, I set 15 chairs around my big dining room table. 14 for everyone I invited, and one empty chair, no plate or anything. Just a possibility, not an expectation. After we ate, everyone went into the living room for coffee, and I slipped back into my office. The laptop screen lit up as I logged into my bank account. 5 automatic monthly payments show up on the screen, each one helping a scholarship for young women who didn't have support at home. Suddenly, my phone vibrates with a text. I'm proud of you, it's my mom. After 2 years of not talking, these 5 little words finally broke the silence. I stared at the screen, not sure what to do. The old me would have just ignored it, or maybe gotten angry, letting out all the old pain. But that Sierra, the one who was always trying to prove herself, was gone, so I typed 2 simple words back. Thank you. Later, after everyone was gone and the apartment was quiet, I walked around. On my desk sat a framed dollar bill, the first money Metatronics ever made. I ran my finger over the glass. For so long, I thought being a good daughter meant just giving and giving. Now I know that love that doesn't say thank you isn't love. It's just a way to control you. I shut my laptop and turned toward the next day.